Hello the cop, please subscribe my channel for follow Liverpool Football Club news on everydays. Luis Diaz inspires Liverpool demolition job in vital Europa League win, 5 talking points. Liverpool 4-0 LASK, 3 goals in the first hour put Liverpool in control against LASK as Jurgen Klopp's team made sure they will be playing European football in the new year. Liverpool bounced back from their Europa League defeat against Toulouse by swatting LASK aside to book their place in the knockout stages of the Europa League. A quick-fire double from Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo saw Jurgen Klopp's side get themselves 2 in front after just 15 minutes. Kostas Tsimikas almost added a third when he crashed a shot against the crossbar. It was 3 just a few minutes after the break, with Mohamed Salah scoring from the spot after Gakpo went down under the challenge of LASK keeper Tobias Lawal, and Gakpo hit the post as his team went in search of a fourth before finally getting his second of the night in stoppage time. The closing stages saw Liverpool let their opponents create a few chances, but the game was won by then. After securing their European progress, and as group winners thanks to Toulouse dropping points, Klopp's men can focus on domestic matters once more. Liverpool named a strong starting lineup as they looked to seal their progress in the competition. It was clear Jurgen Klopp was in no mood to mess around, with Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz lining up across the front line. Klopp's team went behind early in the reverse fixture and needed their wits about them to deal with early attacking pressure from the Austrians. In the end, though, it was a comfortable evening. 2 early goals will do that, while the third allowed Klopp to make changes, including minutes for a couple of youngsters. Here are talking points from Anfield. 1. Kelleher's proper test has to wait. What did you make of Liverpool's display? Have your say in the comments section. The injury suffered by Alisson against Manchester City means Kevin Kelleher could be called upon with a fair bit of frequency in the coming weeks. On the strength of this game, well, we've learned very little. Kelleher had next to nothing to do in the first half, but was finally called into action shortly after the hour mark. His reaction was promising, as he rushed from his line to snuff out a promising attack in a manner Alisson himself would be proud of, but the saves he made were the kind that would be expected of him. Long spells with not much to do followed by the need for concentration certainly can prepare him for what's required in the league. However, we'll need to wait a while to see how he holds up to the toughest tests on the horizon. 2. Questions for the defense. While there weren't too many saves for Kelleher to make early on, that's not to say LASK didn't create dangerous situations. Nigerian forward Moses User found plenty of space between the lines for the visitors, but that cutting edge was lacking. While Marin Ljubisic blasted a presentable second-half chance over the bar. Liverpool won't be using this exact back four in the bulk of their league games, with the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold due to return. Perhaps the unfamiliarity can be used to justify some of the disjointedness, but it's still not what Klopp will have wanted to see. There are also still questions over Wataru Endo, too. Michael Owen suggested the Japan international has failed to make the holding midfield role his own since arriving in the summer, and there wasn't a huge amount of control in a game which felt more open than it needed to be. Next up, Fulham will visit Anfield off the back of a trio of goals against Wolves on Monday. Marco Silva's side are unlikely to be quite as forgiving if presented with as many openings as LASK. 3. Diaz back to his best. The speed with which Luis Diaz has returned to top form is, frankly, phenomenal. Klopp confirmed it was the Columbia Star's decision to make himself available for the trip to Luton while his father was still at hands of kidnappers, and he scored a late equalizer at Kenilworth Road before downing Brazil with a World Cup qualifying double. There was even more brilliance to come against LASK. A flying header was the kind of finish which blends quality and quick thinking, and it was far too quick for Lawal in the visitors' goal. Diaz got a rest for the final half hour, with Gakpo shifting left and Darwin Núñez moving into the middle. Now it's time for Liverpool to wrap him up in cotton wool ahead of the next league outing. 4. No double century for Salah. Going into the game, Mohamed Salah needed 2 more goals to bring up 200 in Liverpool red. He was certainly getting involved early on, but that milestone will have to wait. Salah did score once, from the spot. However, rather than leaving the Egyptian on to look for a second, he took him off for Núñez almost instantly. Liverpool will need Salah at his best against tougher opposition than this. However much they may have been tempted to leave him on, there was simply no need, especially with fellow forward Diogo Jota already set for a spell on the sidelines. 5. Tricky playoff avoided. Liverpool knew 3 points against LASK would ensure their progress, while ensuring just 1 more against Union SG in game week 6 would ensure they topped the group. However, the Belgians could also do them a favor in the night's other game against Toulouse to assure the Reds of top spot with a week to spare. The difference between first and second in this competition is a big one. It's the difference between sailing through to the last 16 and avoiding an extra couple of games, or facing a playoff against one of the teams dropping down from the Champions League. Earlier in the day, West Ham's win against Baka Topola means they need just 1 more point to top their group and avoid a tricky extra round of their own. Liverpool got the result they need too, and Union then kept up their part of the bargain. Liverpool cult hero Steve McManaman described Mohamed Salah as a genius in the Reds' Europa League win over LASK at Anfield. Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool charges made light work of their opponents as they cruised to a 4-0 win that put them into the knockout stages of the competition. McManaman, commentating on TNT Sports, commented on a Salah chance shortly before half-time. The £34 million man's effort was kept out by Tobias Lawal, and while McManaman praised the Liverpool man, he wasn't keen on his chance. Salah is a genius, but that didn't look like that was ever going to trouble the goalkeeper, he said, as transcribed by BBC Sport. Nonetheless, Salah, who had already claimed an assist, did get on the scoresheet later on, netting a penalty in the 51st minute of the match. Best player on the pitch by some distance. That was the Reds' 3rd goal of the encounter, after Luis Diaz opened the scoring in the 12th minute and Cody Gakpo added a second 3 minutes later. Hello the Cop, please subscribe my channel for follow Liverpool Football Club news on everydays.